The ballroom shimmered under warm gold lighting, champagne glasses chiming beneath layers of forced laughter. Laura looked breathtaking that evening, her red dress clinging in all the right places, her hair styled to perfection. Walking in beside her had filled me with pride, the kind that made me grateful to call her my wife. But that feeling slowly eroded as I watched her slip away from me, drifting like a flame drawn toward a stronger fire. Her boss, Richard, was already waiting at the center of the dance floor, smooth, confident, and the type of man who never respected limits. "Just one dance, babe," she'd whispered earlier, waving it off as harmless. But one dance turned into two, then three. And every time I glanced over, her hand lingered a little longer on his shoulder, and his rested a little lower on her back. People saw it. I saw it. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like her husband. I felt invisible. I stood by the bar, sipping a drink I barely tasted, pretending to care about my coworkers' chatter. Their laughter faded into a blur as I watched Laura throw her head back at something Richard murmured. Her eyes sparkled, sparkles she once saved only for me. My jaw tightened, not from jealousy, but from understanding. This wasn't unintentional. She wanted me to notice. She wanted to remind me she was still desirable, that maybe I'd become too comfortable. It was her quiet way of saying, I can do better. But I didn't create a scene. I didn't leave. I simply watched in silence, a strange calm settling inside me. Not weakness, but a colder kind of clarity. That's when I noticed her. She stood a few feet away, holding a glass of white wine, observing the same spectacle. She was striking, tall, graceful, effortlessly confident. Her expression matched mine, detached amusement with a trace of pity. When our eyes met, she offered a small, knowing smile, as if she already understood every thought running through my mind. "You must be Laura's husband," she said softly, stepping closer. "And you must be his assistant," I replied. She nodded, eyes glinting. "Ex-assistant," she corrected. "I quit last week. Richard doesn't understand the difference between being professional and being personal." My eyebrows lifted. So it was true. She tilted her head toward the dance floor. "You already know it is." We watched as Laura leaned in closer to Richard, whispering something that made him laugh. To everyone else, it probably looked playful, harmless office chemistry. But to me, it looked like a wife testing the boundaries of her marriage. "You don't deserve that," the former assistant murmured, her voice steady. "I've heard the way he talks about her at work, like she's another prize." I exhaled, tapping the rim of my glass. "Guess they both enjoy the attention," I said with a tight smile. Her lips curved slightly. "Then maybe they belong together." There was no bitterness in her tone, just truth. And that's when it hit me. A stranger could see what I'd been refusing to admit for months. Laura finally spotted us talking. Her smile wavered as she whispered something to Richard and hurried toward us, her heels clicking sharply against the marble, like warning shots. "Daniel," she said, voice strained. "I see you've met Olivia." I nodded. "Yeah, we were just discussing workplace dynamics. Real eye-opening stuff." Olivia smiled politely, though her eyes burned with something sharper. Laura forced a laugh, her voice cracking. "Can I talk to you for a second?" she hissed. I shrugged. "It's your event, Laura. Go mingle." Her jaw tightened. She wasn't in control anymore, and she felt it. Richard approached moments later, a smug grin barely hidden. "Is everything all right here?" he asked, placing his hand far too comfortably on Laura's waist. Olivia's eyes flicked to his hand, then back to me. "Everything's perfect," I said coolly. "Your assistant was just telling me how much she enjoyed working with you." Richard's expression faltered. "Ex-assistant," Olivia corrected, her tone calm but cutting. "I left because I got tired of watching married people act like they're single." Silence dropped like a stone. Richard's smirk evaporated. Laura's hand slipped from his arm like a confession falling to the floor. The room went so quiet you could hear champagne bubbles breaking. The moment stretched unbearably long. Laura glanced between us, searching desperately for denial, forgiveness, an escape route. But I gave her none. I set my drink down, straightened my jacket, and met her eyes. "You wanted me to see you tonight, Laura. I saw you. No yelling. No drama. Just truth." She stammered that it was harmless, but her trembling voice betrayed her. Richard tried to laugh it off, but the crowd had already gathered, whispers spreading like spilled wine. I turned to Olivia. "Thank you for being honest." She nodded, her expression soft but firm. I walked out without another word. Behind me, Laura called my name, but I didn't look back. Every step out of that ballroom felt like shedding a weight I'd carried for far too long. By the time I reached my car, the cold night air felt cleaner, sharper, but freeing. I sat behind the wheel, staring at my reflection in the window, realizing that sometimes silence is the loudest revenge of all. I didn't need to expose her. She'd already done that herself, in front of the exact people she wanted to impress. The next morning, she came home early, mascara smeared, voice trembling. "It didn't mean anything," she insisted. "You overreacted." I looked at her with no anger, no emotion. "You humiliated me, Laura." "And for what?" "To prove you could." She broke down, saying she'd made a mistake, that Richard pushed things too far. But I didn't want excuses. I wanted peace. I told her calmly that I'd be staying at my brother's place for a while, and that she needed time to figure out what she really wanted. Her sobs followed me to the door, but I didn't stop. Weeks later, Olivia sent me a short message. "Hope you're doing better. You deserved honesty." I smiled. I wasn't angry anymore. If anything, I was grateful. Grateful for the clarity, the truth, and the reminder that the universe doesn't always whisper. Sometimes it shouts through humiliation just to wake you up. My wife had wanted attention. Instead, she got exposed by her actions, not by me. And I finally remembered my worth.